Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi everyone. Hope you're all doing well today, tonight, or whenever um, you're watching this. Um, Today, I'd like to share with you something that happened today, and the general theme is related to apologies. How we apologize, when we apologize, to whom we apologize. And I know different cultures have different ways of saying you're sorry if something doesn't go in the right way. But the premise here that I'd like to share is when we have the opportunity to genuinely reflect upon what we've done. And if we've come up with the conclusion that it was just wrong, inaccurate, too hasty, we've acknowledged that, if we acknowledge that to ourselves, which is pretty much half of it, once we acknowledge that, when we approach the person, if we don't say we're sorry, so a lot of people I feel analyze and they know they did something wrong, but they don't apologize, and they sort of trick themselves into saying, well, I know it was wrong, I'll learn the lesson, I won't do it next time, so I don't need to say I'm sorry. You're sort of like trying to play both sides, you're trying to play on both sides of the football team, which you can't do. Let's give you an example of something that happened today, live example. So I took my car for 100,000 kilometer service, so it's quite a big service. Took it to the agent. They did a full checkup and everything they normally do. Had to change some tires, so it came up to quite a bit of money. So I took the car. About 2 days later, the air conditioning was completely blowing hot air. And if you live in the Middle East, especially in our part of the Middle East, ACs are a really big deal. So I got really angry, and in the back of my mind somehow I had constructed this story that insisted upon somebody in the car showroom or in the garage where they do the service. They must have done something to it, because I didn't have a problem with the AC, but all of a sudden I do immediately after I take the car to them. So I had somehow conjured up that story in my mind, and I went back to them, saying, listen, I gave you a healthy AC, now you're giving me an AC that doesn't work, you guys trying to con me, and so on and so forth. And the man, I talked to the manager and and everything, and the manager looked at the papers and said, listen, we did the service. You didn't have a problem with the AC, so we didn't really have to check the details of it. But we now know that there's a leakage, and the leakage needs to be rectified. We need to take the whole dashboard up, and it's quite a big job. And I got really angry. I said, no way, I'm taking the car somewhere else. So I did. I took the car somewhere else, and they checked it, and guess what they said? They said exactly the same thing as the the first garage said. And when they said that, I felt bad. I felt this small, because I mean I didn't shout at the guy, but I was pretty direct in how I spoke, and it just got me thinking that I shouldn't have been so hasty. I went in with this idea, and it was wrong. Conspiracy theories and so on and so forth about big corporations, and I was playing the victim. That's what it is. I was playing the victim. Now, it's so easy to do that. We can easily play victim to big corporations and authorities, and the list goes on. But here's the thing. and it's very much tied into the whole apology thing, concept. When we play victim, we are robbing ourselves of power, as far as I can tell. Well, every time we say we're a victim or when we're small, it's like it literally is giving away a tremendous amount of power that you desperately need. And I believe it's the same thing when it comes to an apology. If you know you're wrong and you don't apologize, you waste energy and you don't get to claim that energy back. What if every time you apologize sincerely, you got more energy for it? And you felt so much better for it, so much more empowered, and you did something with it. Literally, it's energy. When you do it sincerely, you will get energy and you'll just feel so much better. So what ended up happening is I felt really guilty, I felt bad, and I called the two individuals, the guy that was handling the car and the manager who I insisted on speaking to and who made himself available quite readily as well. I called them up individually and I said, listen, this is Wa'il. I spoke to you this morning and I'm just calling to apologize. I took the car somewhere else and they said it had the exact same problem that you guys said it would have. I'm not too proud to say I'm sorry. I shouldn't have spoken to you in such a manner. And I just want to say I'm sorry. And I did that to both of them. Now, it doesn't matter whether they accept that genuinely or they don't. For me, I did that to regain power. I had a power leakage. I was the one leaking now. The AC wasn't the one that was leaking. I was the one leaking, and I had to block that leakage. And in recognizing what I had done and apologizing for it on the same day, I believe, and I felt it. I believed I had saved that energy, and I used it for something better. So that's the thought that I'd like to share with you. If you have anything in your life where you know you've done something wrong and you haven't apologized for it, regardless of whether they accept it or not, just think of it as of energy that you need that you're not reclaiming. Think of it that way. So I wish you well. I wish you all the power. I wish you less leakages. And I think, just before I sign off, I don't think I'll get to a phase where I'll never make these mistakes again. But I hope, I'm practicing consciously of getting better at resolving the problem quicker. And very often that's the difference between novices and intermediate level or advanced levels. They can make the same mistake, but they retrieve themselves from the mistake quicker. So I wish you power. I wish you success. If you've done something wrong and you know it, apologize. That's my advice. And whilst you can, and get that power, get that energy back, and put it to good use, because the world sorts of needs that quite desperately, I believe, in this day and age. All right, that's it from me. I'm gonna try and get some sleep, and see you soon, inshallah.